Hi everyone, you're welcome back. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to draft, cut and sew a bustier with a built-up Queen Anne neckline. If this looks like what you really wish to learn, please watch till the end. I'll be starting with the back block of the bustier, and here I've gone ahead to draft a basic back block with a waist depth of 1 inch, and I went ahead to mark my zipper allowance of 1.5 inch. And here I have the chest line where I inserted my bust measurement, and here I have the waistline. So if you don't know how to draft a basic bodice, I'll be dropping a link to this tutorial in the description box for you to go ahead to check it out. So now we're going to go into the business of the day, which is how to draft the built up neckline. So for the back, the first thing I'll go ahead to do is to insert my neck width and my neck depth, and I'll be starting all my measurement from this zipper allowance line I have at this point. So first I'll go ahead to insert the neck width of 3 inch. So I'll place my tape rule like this and I'll mark 3 inch for the neck width. After marking that, I'll go ahead to insert the neck depth, which is 1 inch, and I'll mark that also. Then I'll go ahead to draw the neckline with the curved part of my ruler like this. After doing this, the next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to insert the height of the built-up collar, which is 2 inch, and I'll be inserting it at this neck width point like this. After doing that, I'll go ahead to draw a straight vertical line with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. Next, on the center back, I'll also go ahead to go up by 2 inch like this and mark, after which I'll square up the neckline with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. Next, I'll be coming down by 0.5 inch on the center back like this, and I'll mark that. Then I'll connect that point to this point with the curved part of my ruler like this. So after doing this, next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to come in by 0.25 on this shoulder line. I'm going to be coming in from the neck width by 0.25 inch, and I'll go ahead to mark that. After which I'll connect this point to the 0.25 inch I just marked like this with the curved part of my ruler. This is to help eliminate every sharp edge at that point. So basically we are done with the built up neckline for the back, and this is what the back neckline is going to look like. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to draw the shoulder slope like you see me doing in the video. Then we'll move over to the front block of the bustier we are making. So for the front block, I've gone ahead to insert my vertical measurement as you can see on the paper. So the next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to quickly label it. This line here is the shoulder line, here is the chest line, here is the bust point line, here is the under bust line, and here I have the waistline. Note that the front and the back waistline is not the same. For me, the difference between my front and back is 1.5 inch. So make sure you take out your measurement before you go ahead to start drafting. The first thing I'll be doing on the front block is to take out the dart and tighten the under bust. And in doing that, first I'll go ahead to mark half of my bust pan measurement on the bust point line, on the waistline, and also on the under bust line. After marking that, I'm going to go ahead to mark a dart of 2 inch. That means I'll be marking 1 inch on both sides of the under bust and also both sides of the waistline like you see me doing in the video. After marking that, I'm going to go ahead to connect the under bust to the waistline with a straight line like you see me doing in the video. Next, I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch from the bust point line, and I'll go ahead to mark that. After marking that, I'll go ahead to connect that point to the under bust with the curved part of my ruler like this. So this is what you should have once you're done doing this. Next, you're going to move over to the armhole to take out the armhole dart, and in doing that, I'll go ahead to come down by 3 inch from the armhole depth line and mark. After marking that, I'll connect that point to the bust point line with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. Next, I'll be coming down by 1 inch from the point I just marked like this, and I'll go ahead to mark. Then I'll also connect that point to the bust point with a straight line like you see me doing in the video. After doing this, the next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to replace this 1 inch I took at this point outward like this, and I'll go ahead to mark that. So if you don't replace it, you'll discover that when joining the center panel to the side panel, it is not going to align. So to avoid that, you need to replace whatever that intake you took on the armhole area to avoid shortage. After marking that, I'll go ahead to redraw the armhole with my ruler like this, so this other part is no longer relevant. We have a new armhole already. The next thing I'll go ahead to do now is to blend the bust area to eliminate every sharp edge like this. Then I'll go ahead to start inserting my body circumference measurement. On the chest line, I'll mark my bust measurement divided by 4. Then I'll measure what I have on this dart area and replace it on the side. After doing this, I'm going to add a swing allowance of 1.5 inch on the chest line also. Next, I'll move over to the waistline and I'll mark my waist measurement divided by 4 and mark. Then this 2-inch dart intake on this side, I'll replace it. Then I'll mark 1.5 inch for the sewing allowance. After doing this, I'll go ahead to connect the chest line to the waistline with a straight line like this. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to take out the bust dart. So for me, the difference between my shoulder to waist for my front and back is 1.5 inch. So I'll come down from my bust point line and mark the 1.5 inch, after which I'll connect it back to the bust point with a straight line like this. So once I close up this bust dart, it's going to align with the back properly. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead to quickly do now is to draw the built-up neckline for the front block of the bustier I'm making. And in doing that, first I'll go ahead to mark my neck width of 3 inch and mark. After marking that, I'll go ahead to draw the shoulder slope with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. Next, I'm going to go ahead to come down by 3 inch also, and I'll go ahead to draw a simple round neck. This is just going to be serving as a guide for us. We don't really need this neckline. Next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to determine how deep I want my Queen Anne neckline to be. So for me, I'll be coming down by 7 inch and I'll mark that. Then at the point where I just marked the 7 inch, I'll also go ahead to insert the neck width of 3 inch and mark, after which I'll square up the line with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So after squaring up the line, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to extend my shoulder slope down to the front like you see me doing in the video. You're going to go ahead to extend your shoulder slope like this. Then from the neck width, you're going to go ahead to mark 2 inch, which is the height of the collar you use for the back. So whatever height you use for the back, that is what you'll be inserting at this point from the neck width. So in my case, it was 2 inch and I've gone ahead to mark the 2 inch. After marking the 2 inch at that point, I'll be going up by 0.5 inch and I'll go ahead to mark that. Next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to connect this point back to the neck width with the curved part of my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So next, I'm going to move over to drawing of the Queen Anne neckline. So for the Queen Anne neckline, the first thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to go up by 2.5 inch from the neck width and I'll go ahead to mark that. After marking that, I'll go ahead to draw a straight horizontal line with my ruler like this. Then I'll go ahead to connect this point to the neck depth with the curved part of my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So after doing this, I'll go ahead to connect this point to this point also with the curved part of my ruler. So if you want it to be straight, you can connect it with a straight line, and if you want it to be curved like this, you can also go ahead to connect it with the curved line. So this is what the Queen Anne neckline is going to look like. So if you want this part to be a little bit wider, I can simply go ahead to go out by 1 inch from this point, but I want mine to be like this. That is why I went ahead to do it like this. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to measure what I have on this part of the bodice like this. So I'll place my tape rule and I'll go ahead to take the measurement down to the shoulder slope like you see me doing in the video. So after taking the measurement, what I had here was 6.75. I'll go ahead to measure that off the back also. I'll place my tape rule like this and I'll take the measurement all the way down to the shoulder slope also. So here I have almost 6.5. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to reduce that of the front so that it will be equal with that of the back, so that when it comes to joining of the front and the back together, there will be no any form of shortage. So make sure that what you have on the shoulder area for both the front and the back is equal to avoid any form of shortage. After reducing it, I'm going to go ahead to redraw the Queen Anne neckline with the curved part of my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So you can actually do this before you draw your neckline to avoid coming back to start redrawing the neckline again. So this line I'm drawing now is going to be the new neckline. This other one is no longer relevant. So basically this is what the built-up neckline for the front is going to look like. The next I'm going to go ahead to quickly do now is to cut it out. So before cutting, the first thing I'll go ahead to do is to close up the bust dart, then I'll go ahead to cut it out. So yeah, I've gone ahead to place my pattern on my fabric, and I've also gone ahead to mark my sewing allowance. So I went ahead to mark a sewing allowance of 0.5 inch all the way around, including the neckline. For the side, I went ahead to mark the same 0.5 inch all the way on this part, but there is none on the side because I already added that of the side while I was drafting. So this is what the front block is going to look like, and here I have the back. For the back, I also went ahead to mark a sewing allowance of 0.5 inch on the neckline, on the shoulder line, and also on the hem. There is none on the side, and also there is none on the zipper allowance area, so there is no allowance at this point. So this is what you should have. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to cut it out. So after cutting, this is what it is going to look like. The next I'm going to go ahead to quickly do now is to cut out my lining. Then I'll go ahead to pad the bustier area with this medium size wadding you see here. After doing this, I'll come back to show you what to do next. So I've gone ahead to attach the wadding to the bustier area of the front, and this is what it is going to look like. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to start joining the piece together. So first I'll go ahead to join the side to the center panel of the front. So I'll place it like this, making sure the good face are facing each other. Then I'll go ahead to stitch it, and I'll be repeating the same thing for the lining piece also. And here I have the back block. For the back block, what I'll go ahead to do is to sew in the darts for both my lining and my main fabric separately. I'm going to go ahead to sew in the darts, then I'll come back to show you what to do next. So after I was done joining the center to the side, this is what it is going to look like. As you can see, the bustier area came out really nice. I went ahead to open up the seam and I gave it a good press, and this is what the inner part is going to look like once you're done joining the piece together. So here I have the lining piece. I'm going ahead to join the center to the side of the lining piece also, and this is what it is going to look like. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to join my lining to my main fabric. So I'll place it, making sure the good face are facing each other. Then I'll go over to my sewing machine to stitch the neck area. I'm going to go ahead to stitch the neck area of the bustier. After stitching the neck area of the bustier, I'm going to go ahead to also close up the sides for the front, after which I'll turn it over, give it a good press. Then I'll also be repeating the same thing for the back. Here I have the back block. I've gone ahead to sew in the darts for the back, and this is what it looks like after I was done doing that. So here I have my main fabric. I also went ahead to repeat the same thing for the lining piece. So I'll be joining the lining piece and the main fabric like you see me doing in the video. I'm going to go ahead to stitch the neck area, the zipper area, and also the side for the back piece. After doing this, I'll give it a good press, then I'll come back to show you what to do next. So after fixing my lining piece to the main fabric, this is what it is going to look like, and this is what the inner part is going to look like. As you can see, it's looking very neat and it came out really nice, and the bustier area is still perfectly okay. So if you follow the process I used in making this bustier, you're not going to have any issue with your bustier. And here I have the back block. This is what the back block is going to look like. I went ahead to turn it over and I gave it a good press. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to join the front and the back together, and in doing that I'll go ahead to open up the shoulder of the front, and I'll repeat the same thing for the back. Then I'll go ahead to place the two of them together like this, making sure that the seams are meeting and also the fabrics are meeting each other and the lining piece are also meeting each other. After placing it like this, I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and stitch the two of them together, and I'll be repeating the same thing for the other side also. Once I'm done doing this, I'll come back to show you what to do next. So after I was done joining the shoulders together, this is what it is going to look like. This is what you should have. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to notch it. Then I'll turn it over to the good face and arrange the bodice so that you see what it looks like. So this is what the neckline is going to look like once you are done making it. So I'm going to be closing up this part. As you can see, the built-up neckline is already coming out. The next I'm going to go ahead to quickly do now is to go over to my sewing machine, and I'll be closing up this part. So if you want your zipper to start from the neck area, you can simply skip this, but for me I'm going to be stitching down by at least 5 inches, after which I'll fix my zipper on the remaining part of the opening on the back. Once I'm done doing this, the next I'm going to go ahead to do is to close up the sides. Then I'll come back to show you what it looks like. So after I was done closing up the back and closing up the side, this is what it is going to look like. This is what the back neckline is going to look like, and as you can see, the blouse came out really nice and the built-up neckline came out well. As such, when I was making this upper bodice, I've not decided whether to make a blouse or a gown, so I'm just going to go ahead to place this on my mannequin for you to see what it looks like on the mannequin. But trust me, it came out really nice. So guys, this is the final look of the bustier with a built-up Queen Ann neckline. It came out really nice and it is looking so beautiful. So you can go ahead to try yours and let me know about it in the comment section. If you find this video helpful to you, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also share and recommend this video. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next tutorial.